The Manifest Destiny Culminating Task by Erlen Woodley. The U.S. was unjustifiable because of the way they made people leave and started wars when trying to get more land for their country. It's not that the U.S. shouldn't have got more land, it's just that they could have done it in a better way and more effectively. One example of the way they needed more land was because they needed to expand. They had quite a bit of land before, but needed more for future reasons. An example of the way that you should not handle this is like John L. Sullivan. He didn't care whether you hurt people or started wars, but he wanted an expansion. Finally, what they did to the Indians was very bad, considering that they had killed 25% of them while sending them on a trail of tears before. So it's not that they only wanted more land, but in a way they needed it, and that's why they took it. But they definitely could have done it in the right way, as said in the paragraphs below. They didn't have a lot of land, but not a little amount of land before the expansion. Now we/they have a lot of land. Us having a lot of land to grow on is a good and bad thing. All of the expansions, like has been said, could have come along in a nicer way, and that's why the U.S. was unjustifiable. It was actually a good thing to have all of this land in the future, but also not so good. Since we got all of this land, more people from other countries wanted to come and join our free country to get away from theirs for some reason. Once a lot of people started to grow, their families, plus people coming in from other countries, it caused a lot of economic downfalls and our country became overcrowded. This person, John L. O'Sullivan, was saying that the future of our nation depends on what we are doing with the expansion. He basically didn't care whether they killed or hurt people. He wanted our country to be big and free. They could have kept this mindset, but they could have done it in a slower and nicer way because we didn't need the land right then and there. Almost every country that we were stealing from was in debt or poor. If we were a rich country, which we kind of were, we could have bought the land and it would have benefited us in more ways. Because we would get the land and we would help poor countries around us. Plus, doing it this way, we would have prevented wars from happening. The American people have derived their origin from many generations, is what John L. Sullivan had stated. They sold the Indian land for money during the expansion. Indian land for sale is what the ad had said in 1911. These are the same Indians/Native Americans that Georgia and its army had forced out of their land. They had then started to sell their land that they gave to them and said that they would live long and grateful lives there, but no, they had sold it instead. They made the Indians move out of their country and so that they could get a profit from it. So either way, the Americans still benefited them from sending the Indians on a trail of tears. That's why the U.S. was unjustifiable.